Okay, welcome back. This is the penultimate episode, episode 7, The Bridge. Last time around, Demodogs blew up or something? I'm not really sure. I think that's what happened, and then they escaped Camazotz. So, yeah, this episode is The Bridge. I don't really have a joke for it, so hit it, Johnny. Oh, boy. One more left. Okay. That's fine. Honestly, I don't have many complaints about that I haven't just complained about all season, so I don't know. Probably, hopefully not too big a complainy discussion this time. I don't know. I will be really curious if anyone sticks through this whole video listening to me bitch about this season, but I don't know. Here's what I'll say. The Will stuff, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I had heard about this. I had heard about the coming out scene, as this was coming out, basically, because for context, it is now February the 6th. It is 2 months since I started watching this, since I started watching this season, since I started recording these episodes, but yeah, and this will also be the last day because I'm actually recording this and the last episode back to back, so I'll be wearing the same shirt and everything. I'm just gonna power through the rest of this now. So I had heard through the grapevine, i.e. Twitter, the grossest of the grapevines, that I had heard about this scene, and I was like, oh my god, you know, we're doing this whole, like, him being gay, like, you're not doing anything interesting with it, like, it's just like, oh, he's gay, and it's like, okay, well, whatever, and then, of course, you know, I saw that it's like, you know, it's not just that he has this, you know, deep personal moment with, you know, Joyce, Jonathan, you know, Mike there, maybe too. It's that he's saying this in front of, like, 14 different characters, so, and it just kind of highlights, it highlights a problem with this show, that there are way too many characters, and most of them are not necessary, you know? And it is slightly funny, you know, because this kid, he is acting his fucking heart out, and I hope to God these everyone here gets a fucking job in the future, you know, because I like all of these actors, you know, and I really do hope that they all have great careers going forward, and they're not, you know, it's not just that they peaked at Stranger Things. I really hope they keep going, and this kid is acting his fucking heart out right now, trying to do this coming out speech. But I will say it's only slightly undercut. I will say it's only slightly undercut by tying it to Demon Man. You know, the fact that, you know, the fact that Vecna showed him what was going to happen, you know, and specifically reached into his mind and showed him, oh, if you come out to your friends and your family, some of them will reject you. It's just, like, the thought of that is hilarious, you know? That he's literally instilling, like, fear of conservatism, like, during the Reagan administration into Will. That's what the Demon Man is doing. Like, it's such a weird thing, you know? That's such a weird, goofy thing to do, but yeah, okay, sure. Other than that, I will say, you know, because I've kind of been harsh on the whole Will is gay subplot, and especially in season 4, it really didn't do anything, you know? It was another of those, like, well, here's something about Will. Okay, well, Will's not interesting, and has not really been a character, and you haven't given him anything to do. I will give them credit. Season 5, they gave him stuff to do. He's one of the most important characters this season, you know? And that is something I have been saying over these episodes, that Will has gained an importance through his connection with Vecna, you know? So that I'm more okay with, actually. I'm okay with him, you know, and also the fact that they have tied in him coming out into how he deals with Vecna. Because, I mean, essentially, it's almost this demon in his closet, essentially, you know? The skeleton in his closet, except you have to separate it. Being gay, like, it's okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's gay. Sure. All right, cool. And then literal demon man. You have to separate. They're not the same thing, you know? Being gay, even, I know it's the 80s and stuff, but it shouldn't have been. You know, obviously there's people even now that would say that being gay is just as bad as being demon man. So, but I like how, you know, him getting more sure of himself as, you know, he's getting more confident in himself and talking with Robin about, you know, literally just getting more confident in himself and who he is as a person, including this aspect of himself that, yeah, in 1987 is highly frowned upon, you know? It wasn't really treated seriously. I mean, good lord, even after the 80s, you know, how many sitcoms in the 90s and the early 2000s, you know, was being gay, you know, just a joke that was thrown into a sitcom, you know? It's terrible, and, you know, now we're finally starting to get away from a lot of that stuff, but there's still a lot of people that would be like, well, if you're gay, then you're of the devil and stuff, and it's like, it's just, like, ridiculous, but I like, you know, him being more confident in himself and you know, accepting this part of himself also ties into fighting the demon man, which is the plot, you know? So I will at least give them that credit, you know? I will give them that credit. If they were just doing that and just, you know, every so often we have to stop and we have to do the gay talk and it's like, okay, what the hell are we doing? We have a plot to get through. It's the final season. But tying that in with fighting the demon man, sure. Because, hey, it means that Will, this season, has been way more important than 11. 11, I don't see people talking about this, because most people are talking about the show as a whole, the story as a whole, and, you know, the fact that there are too many characters. So I have not seen too many people say it, but I'll just go ahead and say 11 is one of the greatest character fumbles I've ever seen. And it's not that she's out of character. She's not. She's not out of character at all. But pretty much since season 1, probably, like, they have not figured out what to do with Elle. Now, maybe that could be because I'm pretty sure they've said that season 1 was supposed to just be a one-off kind of thing, you know? And then it was only after season 1, and it was so popular that they were like, okay, well, maybe we can continue this story. And that is very evident from the fact that, you know, they're trying. This season is really trying to show how Vecna's been the villain the whole time, but he's really not. He has not been the villain this whole time. They clearly made him up for season 4, and, you know, maybe in season 3 they were thinking, okay, sure, you know, there maybe we need to start working on a bigger villain than just the Mind Flayer. But even still, like, I guarantee they did not have all the details about Vecna, like, concrete until season 4, until they started making season 4. And so because of how this story was written, you know, I guarantee none of this was ever planned from the beginning. I think that also highlights that after season 1, they really just did not know what to do with 11 anymore. And it's weird because in theory she should be the main character, you know? She should be the main character, but she's not. And this season especially, there's just nothing. Like, last season was kind of okay, because it's like, well, you know, she's learning about Henry. There's this deep tie to Henry and, you know, Vecna and all this stuff. And, you know, and all these different plot lines about Vecna do converge at the end, so it kind of works. This one, it's not even plot lines in this season. It's just people are separated into different things, you know? And yeah, the fact is, we just finished the penultimate episode. We're going into the final episode of the series. I feel like 11 hasn't done anything this season, you know? Like, they have just not known what to do with her. And so now they're tying Vecna more into Will, and that's fine. That makes sense, you know? And it works, honestly. It's not the greatest thing ever written, but hey, it works. It's more than Will has gotten all show. But yeah, but But 11, it's like this whole season should be building up, the final battle, 11 versus Vecna. And we built a Vecna. We've had plenty of Vecna. We've had plenty of Vecna and Henry in this season. That's all fine and good. But 11, she's really just been moved from place to place. They put in this whole military subplot, which is the dumbest, most boring thing in all of Stranger Things. It's all because of her that these monsters are killing Americans and not Soviets. And it's like, oh my god, I don't care. And the fact that now Callie is here too, I don't care about Callie. And it's like, well, we have to die so that the military can never make people like us again. It's like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the military. Stop bringing in the military. No one cares. And Mr. Wallpisser, why is he a character? Why do you do this? He's just a guy. He pissed on a wall, and suddenly it's like, I'm all scarred now, and I gotta be sure that I get my revenge on them. It's like, I don't care. I don't care. Alright. But 11, it's like, yeah, also, I don't understand why they have to do this thing of, well, 11 and Callie will go into Henry's mind and kill him there. And they did this last season. Now, last season it made sense because they couldn't get to him. He was in the Upside Down. He was in Hawkins in the Upside Down. She was in California. She was in California in the desert. So that made sense why she had to go into his mind to fight him. But I don't understand why they need to go into his mind again to fight him, And especially if if the goal is to get, they have to get Elle and Callie to Hawkins' lab in the Upside Down, which has the tank. From there, that will allow their minds to reach up to where Vecna is in the abyss. But I don't know, because they're going up there anyway, and they're going to kill his body, They're going to try to kill his body and everything, but why not just send Elle and Callie up there to kill him physically? I'm not expecting a Dragon Ball Z fight, but I don't understand why they have to go into his mind to kill him. I don't know. I don't understand that, so I'm also curious, where we're going. I mean, the last episode is 2 fucking hours because these stupid assholes cannot hire editors, apparently. And I don't know what's going to happen with Holly and Max. Now, Max is going... They did at least say Max is going to navigate Elle and Callie through Vecna's mind. That's at least good, because there's a part of me that's suddenly realizing, well, Holly has been recaptured, and, Max is back in her body, but she's in a wheelchair now. It's like, oh, great. So they're not going to be useful anymore. They're not going to be doing anything anymore. We still have to save Holly. We spent all that time trying to escape from Camazotz, only for nothing. We got Max back. That's great. Max is a good character. But Holly just got captured again, put right back into the thing. It's like, okay. All right, thanks. But, I mean, at least they do say, it's well, Max will navigate, I don't know how Max is going to do this, but Max is going to navigate 11 and Holly, or 11 and Callie through Henry's mind. Maybe we'll get an explanation on what the hell that memory was with the dude in the briefcase that shot him. That has to come back. That has to tie in, right? I don't know. I mean, you guys will have already seen. Or maybe not. I don't know. Actually, there's a good question. How many of you guys are watching this video without watching Season 5? I can't imagine it's that many, but I don't know. That'd be funny. Yeah, I guess that's that. I guess that's that. I don't know. It really is with this season. It's not like Game of Thrones where that just imploded on itself and was just the greatest disaster in modern television or television in general. It's just, I don't know, it just kind of fizzled out. You know what it is? I guess let's take it back to the 80s. It's like a good can of Pepsi. You know, hey, you know what? I have a can of Pepsi right here. It's not an 80s can of Pepsi. It's Pepsi Zero Sugar, a modern version. But it's like a can of Pepsi. At the beginning, because Pepsi was everywhere in the first season, because there was that little period where Pepsi dominated for a little while. But you have Pepsi, right? You have Pepsi. Nice, good, refreshing. You crack it open. It's nice and cold. Oh, it's so nice. That's season 1. Season 2, it's about 30 minutes later. Still good. Still good. Season 3 is another 30 minutes later. Alright, still good. Still good. Getting a little warm now. Season 4 is an hour later. You know, I should probably finish up this Pepsi because it's kind of getting warm. It's not really fizzy anymore. Season 5 is 2 hours later. This has lost its fizz. It has lost its, it's lost its cold. It's incredibly warm and flat. And I really should have finished this earlier. And that's Stranger Things. Now, granted, this doesn't fully work because my Pepsi is still cold because I have one of these. Nobody sells these. These we've had these in the house for like 30 years, and nobody sells these online. Someone needs to. Just this nice little drink cooler is what I always drink from because I like a cold drink, and it does let a Pepsi extend. So that metaphor doesn't fully work out, but just a Pepsi on its own. That's what Stranger Things is. And after all that time, you can taste it and be like, well, yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. It still tastes like a Pepsi. But it's lost its fizz, and it's lost its cold. That's what Stranger Things is a Pepsi that you really should have finished a long time ago. And with that, let's move on to the final episode.